Hi, welcome to the Get Missed Toy. I'm your host, James Hart, and with me is...
Bill Duncan.
Today we're going to be talking about Sigmund Freud. And he's a psychotherapist, right? He invented psychotherapy, the father of psychotherapy.
And he was also a lawyer.
He was a lawyer?
Yeah, to the point where, he was even a character in a Sherlock Holmes story too.
Yeah, I haven't read anything by him. I remember taking him in school, and I didn't like it. It was the superego and id and stuff. I thought that was all. It was wishy-washy. Like, it didn't seem like real scientific data.
I think because he smoked a big fat cigar, snorted cocaine, and some people that had issues with cocaine, but he thought it was like better than cut bread or whatever. It's just, honestly. He also had kind of a cocaine addiction, even though they prescribed it. I think it's just really, like, potent caffeine. I've never understood that stuff.
But back then, like, that was, like, it was in the 1800s, right? And, cocaine, it was really unknown, like, probably, like...
Yeah, I mean... Well, there were other kind of, like, philosophers and scientists who come from a certain background, either French or German. And, I don't know. I mean, there's so many different types of, like, philosophers and actual, astronauts even, alien astronauts.
I know Stephen King, I think he had a cocaine addiction for a long time. He would write and use cocaine and, like, do a lot of writing. Is that what Sigmund Freud did? Like, was his writing come out of, like, cocaine induced?
I don't know. Just kind of, I don't know. I mean,
I think Interpretation of Dreams is, like, his major book, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that was, like, just all about dream analysis and how everything is, like, how everything comes down to, like, sexual frustration. And I think I was reading, like, the dreams were, like, wish fulfillment is what he was writing about. So you, like, want a glass of water while you're asleep, and then you, like, dream that you're getting a glass of water. That was kind of the classic example.
So I mean, I don't know. We were even talking about Socrates.
Yeah.
He also met through Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I think Bill and Ted met a lot of people from the past. Bill and Ted is kind of like our show.
Most tubular, dude. Most excellent. Go skate one day, dude.
Okay, if we were to go back in time, what was Freud? Like, was he a celebrity, kind of like a figurehead, like in the news and stuff, like he is now, or did his fame come later?
It probably came later when his when his life ended. I mean, he did write books. He did do a lot of pioneering when it came to psychiatry.
Yeah. I mean, if someone today, like a famous psychologist, smoked big cigars and did cocaine, like, no one would want to read his books, and they would discount him for his drug use, probably.
Well, back then it was obscure. It was original. It was like, what?
He was also a doctor, wasn't he? Was he a doctor? He could prescribe himself.
Yeah, but then eventually became a banned substance.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
As it should be. A lot of people
Yeah.
have died from that drug. It's not a good thing to be like handing around and saying good things about it, because like it's a bullet. It's like a bullet to the brain. You could kill yourself.
And like colorful jelly bean that you're eating. I don't know. I compare candy to drugs. You know that.
Yeah. So I guess it would be like Mr. Dip. Where you get the finger and you dip it in the powder. Remember that candy?
Yeah, yeah, I kind of understood. Or even like Pop Rocks.
Yeah.
Sprinkled.
And what would the cigar be? Licorice?
Yeah, because it's no, it's it's more like coffee. Like a cup of coffee, even though it's more like smoking, like, your caffeine and your nicotine. Two little friggin' drugs. Caffeine and nicotine.
What other drugs did Freud do besides cocaine and
Besides
cigars?
cocaine, there's other drugs that he also kind of told. Well, I don't know. I mean, this was years before even like LSD was. Well, LSD was invented in like 53 or so. But at this point, there was only so much document to the point where there were even prescribing. I don't know. Some dentists would prescribe ecstasy for their dental patients. So for a long time, that was even a painkiller dentists used. But that didn't last, and then eventually, they gave up on it. It's all about that, like, LSD drug or Prozac, and, like, this is that big kind of mainstream drug grossness you look at when it comes to normal drugs compared to, like, the illicit. And why that some people disagree with them with different drugs, like cocaine. It was an ingredient in a lot of things. And it's kind of interesting how they were so kind of, I don't know, they could have treated it completely differently. But throughout history, certain families don't want to have certain things hurting their family business. So there's weird-ass conspiracies out there and stuff, and how even some stuff, like they turn their eye and let some things get smuggled in and all that stuff, but, But no, he lived on another continent. Yeah, he was technically French.
What is the allure of Freud? Why are people so attracted to his ideas, and why did they teach him in university?
Somehow he was like an extraordinary man. Somehow he was able to explain things and go, wow, that's ingenious. So yeah.
The future of illusion he's holding up. Yeah. What is his writing like? Is it interesting or?
Yeah, it's like kind of reading a doctor's report in a way.
Yeah.
In a sense, it's the type of writing that was quite thin, but still important. Kind of interesting little ideas.
What are some of his breakthroughs?
What was that?
Does he have breakthroughs or like? I guess
did,
psychotherapy
but
itself
I
is
don't
like a breakthrough, but they've proven psychotherapy not to work very well. They said it works. They said it works just as well as not doing anything. That's what I read somewhere. That's just a trial they did. But do you believe in psychotherapy? Like
Yeah,
talking
with
through,
like antipsychotics and also antidepressants.
along with psychotherapy.
I don't know. It just seems like I did stints at hospitals and stuff. So
Did anyone ever talk about superego or id?
like the like Pennywise kid.
No, id, the part of the brain, the superego, the ego, and the id. I forget. There might be another one.
Oh, okay.
But that was his division of the division of the mind. It was like the unconscious and super ego. Oh yeah, I think there was a super id too. I'm not sure. We should have looked this up before, but I'm not really interested in his theories too much. Maybe I should be. Should I?
You could be, yeah. I mean, it's just as well as to believe in Einstein's theory in his universe in a way.
Well, Einstein's a lot more founded.
Yeah.
So there's math behind it. Freud, there's no math behind it. He did case studies like person to person, like, and that's not really how science is done.
Well, it's the questions he asks and the way that he points it this way to that way, and even trying to say, well, you have to be in this state of mind to get this and that. So even though, I mean, some people will say, nah, he's not a pioneer or a groundbreaker. Well, he still existed, and he still looks pretty cool, even though he passed on.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Well, he's unquestionably a great thinker. Like, he wrote books. He mesmerized people with his knowledge. He had patience all the time. I don't know. That's not that great, but but maybe his drug use would be frowned upon.
Yeah, it would be frowned upon since he was so-called like a founder of things.
I wonder if he's given it to his patients.
I think he did, to the point where, I don't know, some of his teachings was, like I said, he was a character in a friggin' like Sherlock Holmes.
Which, like the show?
Yeah.
He was a character, or he was actually in it? I guess he couldn't actually be in it because he's from the 1800s. Unless it's Bill and Ted's again.
No. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, he has been referenced a few times in certain things, and his so-called teachings still go on in practice when it comes to questions when you ask when you ask your patient, being a psychiatrist, and analyze. Not completely analyze, but just coming up with your own diagnosis, or knowing the diagnosis. I mean, all this like extra kind of like doctoring comes in handy when you really think about it. I always thought it's kind of good if you have like 2 or 3 different things mastered. You can always fall back on another one, and then I don't know. By that point, it could be all you dealt in unison with certain things.
Have you ever heard the phrase Freudian slip?
I don't know, it sounds similar. Well, I don't know how to, like, what was that again?
Freudian slip.
Making a mistake when it comes to psychology, right?
Yeah, sort of. I'm not really sure what it means. I don't really use it. I don't say like, "Oh, you did a Freudian slip." It's usually something sexual. Like if someone says something I don't know. The slip is
a
usually like
thesis
sexual.
or something.
He had all these theories about like how people love their mother or something and all that shit. And
yeah, tell me about your relationship with your mother. Kind of thing.
Yeah. And there's like the Oedipus complex or something, which is like I forget. I don't know what. It's some relationship in the family, and like a Freudian slip could be like something like you're saying something about your mother sexual or something. I don't know. I don't really know. Welcome to the Get Missed Toy, where things get missed.
A lot of things get missed. I mean, come on. It's part of the show.
Yeah.
It's part of the show. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's funny because I do have a Freud action figure as well as a Doc Brown. Oh yeah, Doctor Who one. The three of them looks like, yeah, it's funny. A professor, doctor, yeah, and actually Sigmund Freud.
Cool.
Yeah. Because, yeah, they've been basically doing these kind of retro action figures with a lot of different kind of cool movies. You would think, why didn't they come up with it in the first place kind of idea? Like, you know, like friggin' action figures of Goonies and Aliens, and then even like Back to the Future. It's a Taxi Driver. That's funny too. Is there all kind of experiments when it comes to the kind of like the literature we read and why this is connected to that? I don't know.
How does Sigmund Freud connect to comics?
Because he looks like Doc Brown and he looks like John Pertwee. It's funny. But John Pertwee never actually had a gray beard. That's the only real difference. Height and everything else, plain and simple. Totally actual size.
And Bigfoot?
That's just, I don't know. I mean, I know you hate Planet of the Apes, but I keep telling you, they should have tried to make the Sasquatch ride horses, but I guess he was too big.
Oh yeah, he'd be too big.
But then I also saw a weird ass sighting video where this thing it's a big ass Sasquatch, but it's acting like an actual gorilla compared to just walking around. He's like jumping and leaping and kind of using all fours. There's an episode video like, what?
It's crazy.
It's funny because that has even been around for a long time. Like the skunk ape who lives in Florida. I mean, they've all said that it only takes maybe a couple like chimpanzees or like orangutans let loose into the wilds of Florida. And there's a lot of good ground if you're like a gorilla or a Bigfoot down in Florida. Yeah, you got all the space in the world. You're really. Once again.
DA?
DA?
Dead air.
Dead air, yeah.
I was just thinking about Bigfoot. It's just like all these orangutans running into the woods and like all these Bigfoots and the Bigfoots jumping on the orangutans and like fighting them and stuff.
I think that was in the book and movie Congo.
Oh.
So yeah, and that was in Michael Crichton.
Yeah.
And he wrote I think he actually technically wrote that before he wrote Jurassic, or even after the Andromeda Stain too.
I just remember the preview for Congo. It was like this huge Bigfoot like jumps in a helicopter and like smashes a guy in the head or something like that. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
It looked pretty cool in the preview. The
Yeah.
cinematography anyway.
Right, but they did find it like an actual human-sized chimp. And it's kind of scary, yeah.
Wow. Do you use the word ego?
Ego? Yeah, like confidence. I don't know. I'm told confidence is a good, like, it's a turn on. If a guy or a girl looks like, yeah, if they're together and they're content and they have stamina and they have, yeah, they have confidence.
I always get confused with like conceitedness and then self, which are different definitions of it, I guess. But I don't like that it means self, which is I, who I am, myself, and it also means conceited. It's like you're a conceited self. That's what ego sounds like to me. I still use it though because it has like there's no other words that say ego. Well, you could say yourself. You can say
Well, yeah.
I should stop using it. Maybe I'll stop using it.
I don't know. It just seems like these things come out of nowhere. I was just about to say, they have found a human-sized chimp, and they call it the billy ape. And the billy ape is, he's just kind of a little bit bigger and grayer, and he's the size of a normal human. Not a Bigfoot per se, but yeah. And even the natives and the people said, oh, they already knew about it when they actually found like a certain like existence of one. That's all the proof that you can get. And all the mysteries of the world.
The thing is, like, a human is a human-sized chimp.
Yeah, but we
So
don't
maybe
have
they found
enough
a
hair.
human. A hairy human.
Or two, like, I don't know, or a hairy amphibian.
Well, we have about
A
6 or 7 minutes left in the show. Is there anything that we didn't get to talk about, and new stuff coming up, new shows? So, was there anything you didn't get to say about our subject, Sigmund Freud?
Yeah, I'm good where I am.
You're good where you are? Okay, we'll move on to new shows. Let's see. Do you have any new ideas that I don't have written down?
No, not just yet.
So you're gonna do Expo and Olympics. We were gonna do.
Yeah, that's what we were going to do that. Yeah, but then we did Freud instead. But yeah, I think we should do that if we haven't. I mean, all these recordings, it's just, it's unbelievable.
And we're gonna do books of yesteryear. And we're gonna do movies and shows of yesteryear. I think we sort of already did that with drama series of yesteryear.
And maybe we shouldn't use yesteryear as much. I don't know. I think.
Yeah, maybe not. Ego and yesteryear, strike through. But that sounds like a pretty good lineup. I have a bigger list. You said you didn't have any more ideas, or?
For the time being, I'm doing okay. I don't have any ideas. I might, but I would have to write them down and remember why I thought it was this way or that way.
Okay, I got some more here. Good and evil in comics.
Yeah, like the villains versus the heroes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Books
The
of yesteryear
darkness.
I mentioned. That'll be just like old books of yesteryear. Oh yeah, I'm not supposed to use that. It's my ego telling me to use yesteryear. Richard III.
The comparisons, yeah.
I'll have to watch that movie because it'll be hard for me to like talk about Richard III. I don't like Shakespeare too much. Is that what it is, Shakespeare?
Yeah, but it's normalized. It's like kind of made it look like World War II or something, where it was ruled by a British monarchy, which has always been. It's just different kings and different people compared to the now, princes and royalty today.
And Sharon Smith, who was on the program for Twilight of the Idols, she wants to be on the program again, and with you also, Bill. So we'll have 3 of us talking about mental health.
That would be a good thing. A discussion group.
And September 23rd, we're gonna do. Or we might just call it the end of the world, because that might be a bit pessimistic to actually set a date.
Right, but we just have these funny numbers just to get past or get up to, because that's the height of progress. You're on top of the world, baby.
And for my own subjects, I mentioned a few of them in there. They're kind of minced in, but I also wanted to do Crime and Punishment. That's a book, and The Idiot, which is another book. Same author, Dostoevsky. But
is Idiot the same movie with Steve Martin?
No, that's The Jerk, isn't it?
Oh, okay, The Jerk. Right.
But that about wraps up our show. Unless you got any more?
No.
Tidbits?
Said my piece. We can move on.
We can move on. We can move on to the end.
This is the end, my friend. The only from here.
Thank you for listening. I'm James Hart.
And as always, Bill Duncan.